Hi friends, welcome to Together Run number 5. I am excited you are joining me today, and I said I was going to have us do a workout this week, but I actually had a 5k race and a 10k race with a week apart, and so I couldn't really squeeze in another workout there. I'm not really ready, but I will make sure we are going to do a workout for next week so we can see how that goes. But for today, let's get straight on to our Together Run 5. I answer some of your questions and hope you enjoy. Good morning, friends. Time for Together Run 5. Yes, I'm still loving hearing how much you guys are enjoying these. I'm going to give again a 30-minute and a 45-minute option. We will do some check-ins, we will look at our surroundings, and then we will have some conversation. Sure, some randomness in there. And we will check in again, and we'll see where we end up. I am also going to have a stop at one point and take a picture. I don't want you to plan out your route, but I'm going to tell you to stop and take a picture at one point, just because why not? That's another step closer we can get to feeling like we're running together. You can see where we're running, and I think it'll be fun. It is a beautiful morning here, so I have a feeling I might be seeing a lot more people, but who knows? So are we ready? And we will throw in some strides at the end. And I did remember my watch this time. All right, are we ready? In 3, 2, 1, and off. I did, as of me recording this, I did a 5K, the Mum Forward 5K, as my last run 2 days ago. And the last time I ran, I took a day off in between. So I might be feeling a bit stiff today, but we'll see. So we are going to go through our bodies and our minds. If I can tease the two apart, our emotions, and see how we're feeling. We'll check in with our surroundings, and then we'll talk a bit. So let's begin with body. I want you to take a moment to scan down from the top of your head. So see if you can feel the top of your head. You're not going to obviously feel your head, but can you feel some hair moving? Feel maybe a hat touching the top? Something you can feel the top on your head somewhere that you can use as a starting point. And then you're going to work your way down. Go through the various parts of your body. Pay attention if you notice anything feels tight, something like a jaw or your shoulders. Relax it as you go through. So I'm going to give you some time to work your way down, and then I'll check back in with some areas that feel tight, stiff, good for me. And you can imagine telling me what you would be saying. So let's start down from your head, scanning down into your neck muscles, through your shoulders, into your chest, your belly, going into your hips, glutes, quads and hamstrings, knees, lower legs, ankles, and toes. How's everything feel? Anything stand out as tight or stiff? For me, I feel a bit stiff in my upper arms, my upper body, holding a bit of tension there. Also feel a bit of soreness in my quads and hamstrings from running that 5K a few days ago, I'm assuming. Otherwise, I'm feeling okay. What about you? And then we're going to check in later and we'll see if the areas have changed, if there's anything different, or if it's the same. The things that are bothering you now are still bothering you then. Often it changes. So next, let's think about mentally. If I was to ask you and you were to sum it up in one word, it's actually something that Maria Vargas, my communications lead, part of Team Running for Real, she was talking the other day about trying to choose one word. I find that really hard. But if you were to pick one or maybe two words for summing up just how you feel overall, what would they be? Let's just think about it for a minute. For me, I would say tight, not just, as I said, physically, but more mentally. I feel a bit like, not stressed, but like, just, I don't know, pressed time, I guess. And then I also, at the same time, feel a sense of relief, peace, for just being able to be out there here on this beautiful morning. Maybe that's gratitude. What about you? Okay, and how about emotions? Well, that probably is the same thing, isn't it? I really need to look up how I could differentiate those. Is there anything else that's coming to mind? Do you feel any stress in your body anywhere? Is your heart tight, hurting for any reason? Do you feel short of breath? Different from running, obviously, just, in general. I'll work on that part. Sorry, friends, I'm going past some kind of tractor thing, so I'm just going to let that pass. It's the only downside with running somewhere where you just have no idea what's ahead. But it's working for now, right? Okay, so next we're going to work our way through the 5 senses like we normally do. And let's begin with the easy one, the taste. For me, I don't really taste anything. Like I need a drink. Is that an answer? What do you smell? Take a nice deep breath. Smell grass. Oh, I'm going to run fast across the street, friends. Do not copy this at home. Those cars were not going to be happy at me. But there's a big stream of them and let's keep going. Do as I... What do we tell our kids? Do as I say, not as I do. That's what I'm telling you right now. Alright, so yeah. Deep breath. What did you smell? Me, I smelled trees, some flowers. Slow down for a second to get my breath back. All right, let's do the next one. What do you hear? Pause the recording. I'll come back. Or if you can't pause, you can take extra long. So I want to give enough time for people to do both. Or I guess you don't need to pause it. Just take your headphones out. What do you hear? I hear birds, my footsteps, my breathing, the bird just flying away, a little honking noise. Some kind of thing that looked like it belongs in a kid's movie. It's making noises. I also didn't want to say it at the time, but just before I crossed that street, I passed a girl, and I went fast to pass her, just because I was, you may have noticed, because I was feeling self-conscious talking to myself, and once I went past her, I heard her swear. So I'm hoping that was nothing to do with me, but it could have been. Who knows? So that was something I heard, but not right now. All right, let's work on the next one. What do you see? Look all around you. As long as you can safely do so, turn your head to the side. Look up. Look down. Anything you've never noticed before? Okay. Look straight for a minute to balance yourself out. Look around. Up. Any interesting cloud patterns? Look down. Anything on the ground? And then let's look the other way. Look up. Look down. What do you see? For me, you see all kinds of different trees and bushes. I think quite often I end up feeling, or at least when I think about the greenery all around us, that it's just all the same. When you really pay attention, there's usually different kinds of trees and different bushes and growths. Big leaves, small leaves, skinny leaves, round leaves, fuzzy leaves. And that's what I seem to be drawn to today. Yeah, there's power lines. Yeah, there's signs. But that seems to be what's grabbing my eye right now, are the different kinds of greenery all around me. And finally, what do you feel? I know we did the scan, but this is different. This is the sensations. Do you feel the wind blowing against your biceps? Do you feel the hair bouncing around on your head? Do you feel your socks in your shoes? What do you feel? One thing I definitely feel today, sports bra rubbing under my arm. No idea why. I've been wearing the sports bra for years now, and it's definitely not feeling as it normally does today. But not bad enough to need to stop. I'm just aware of it. I feel the wind blowing. I'm hoping it's not too strong for you to hear. Feel my toes gripping just a little in the shoes. Anything you felt particular? All right, and that's our check-in. We'll do another quick check-in just before the 30-minute group go away. I shouldn't say go away. before the 30-minute group step off, and then we'll do the other half before the 45 minutes finish. And I think this time we'll do the strides like we did in the last one, of 2 before the 30-minute as part of the run if you're 45 minutes, and then 2 at the end of the 45 minutes. That way, if you're 30 minutes, you still can join us. All right. So something I did want to talk about, I was thinking about when I was saying about all the greenery. Bailey loves to ask what our favourite colours are. And my favourite colour has always been yellow. Well, probably since it transitioned from pink, that I think most young girls go through at some point. But as long as I can remember, it's been yellow. I just like the brightness of it and the, I don't know, warmness of it. But lately, when she asked me what my second favourite is, it's not a question I've ever had to think about before. The colour green has been popping into my mind. And I think a lot of that is because of the climate emergency, because of the fact that there's so much fear and doomism that's being spread around and enhanced, encouraged by the fossil fuel industry, the beverage industry, the tobacco industry. They want us to be panicked and feel like we can't do anything, like hope is lost, because then they can continue business as usual. But for me, one of the colours that's coming to mind right now for me as a favourite is green, because it means health. And not in the sense of like kale is green, spinach is green, but more when I see all the beautiful greenery. And look around you right now, do you see any green? It makes me feel safe and good. So I don't know why that's jumped to the top of my list, but it has. And so yeah, it gives me hope and optimism to know that. And I've been reading a lot of climate books. I did the climate reality training, and all the climate scientists, all the people who's spend their lives working on this, they feel hope. They feel optimistic. They believe that we human beings can figure this out. And if they can do that as the people who see under the hood, we all should. And so I take a lot of confidence in that. There's an amazing climate scientist who spoke at the climate reality training I just did. Her name is Catherine Hayhoe. She's Canadian, and she's so empowering. And go watch her TED Talk if you can. It's so good. I'll try and remember to put it in the show description. So good. Really helpful for knowing what we can do as individuals. But, all right. So why don't I answer... I'm only going to answer one question today. And Jerry Prince, today's your turn. So Jerry had a very, interesting question. There's kind of multiple questions rolled into one. And at first I wasn't sure what to do with it, because it's the things I don't really like talking about very much. And that is the fact that it's stats. So stats, numbers, and how to run and race. So I'm going to interpret that as I can, because I know that is something a lot of people are interested in. But if it's not what you wanted, Jerry, you'll have to clarify for me. And for you, the rest of you. If you have a question or anything I can talk about on these runs, submit it. Send me an email, send me a DM and clarify you want me to answer it on here. And I'd love to address it. And because I'm running, who knows what kind of answer you'll get. As they say, we tell our secrets to the wind when we're running, and definitely say more than maybe we would looking face to face to someone. So who knows what we'll do. I am going to answer that question in just a minute. I'm going to cross over the road in a minute. So I'm going to wait till we get to that. I'm also, for the third time, coming up on shirtless singing dude. So he wasn't singing last week, but we'll see if he's singing today. Doesn't appear to be. Actually, before I cross, stop your watch right now. Let's do it. Stop. All right, get your phone out. Get your phone out. I'll give you a minute. Get your camera out. Go on. If you haven't stopped, do it now. Stop. I've stopped. And I can't even take a picture because I'm worried it's going to stop the recording. But I will take one afterwards. Get your camera out. Take a picture. Hold it up right now. And I know you're self-conscious. There's no need to be self-conscious. You can just DM it to me if you don't want to share it with the world. But seriously, take a picture right now. Hold your arm high in the air or low down so I can see your surroundings. I really want to see. So take a picture right now. Got it? Okay. Let's carry on. And send it to me. Can't wait to see. It's one step closer to us feeling like we're running together, right? So I'm coming up to a street, not looking very promising for me crossing over. So I may have to stop. There's a lot of cars. I thought this would be a quiet time, but apparently not. Okay. Okay. So, Jerry, again, it's tricky to answer your question without my stats. What does that mean? I'm assuming most people know or have heard, at least I'd imagine most people don't know, my times, which are, I'll go 61 seconds, I'll go all the way, 61 seconds in the 400, 2:18 in the 800, which definitely is not what it should be, 4:26 in the 1500. The mile is a bit of a tricky one. I have run 4:41 in a relay, but officially 4:48. 3K, I believe it's 9:33. I'm not 100% on that one. 5K, 16:08. 10K, 33:04. Half marathon, or 10 mile, 55 something. Not sure what the minutes, the seconds is. Half marathon, 1:13:21. Marathon, 2:36. What is the seconds? 39, I think. And trail marathon, my new one added. 4:19, and I don't know what. There you go. I'm assuming that wasn't what you needed or wanted. Whoops, forgot to restart my watch. But when it comes to, when I'm guessing you are referring to like cadence, mine is all over the place. On a run, I'm not doing a great job of keeping my foot underneath me. be as low as 167 when I'm doing that. Really putting myself at risk of I think I should be turning around. Oh no, because we stopped for a minute, didn't we? Really putting myself at risk of overtraining when I have cadence at low. But with the amount of training I'm doing right now, it's not a huge deal. But it can be up to like 180, maybe even beyond during speed workouts. So I don't really try and stay away from people, you know, obsessing over cadence, or I'm really not into like power, no. Or, you know, if you've known me for a while, you know I don't look at pace. I don't really look at my watch. I just start and stop. And so when it comes to stats, I'm not really interested in, you know, it's not even, I don't mind sharing things, I just don't pay attention to them. And then when it comes to trying to interpret your question, Jerry, but how you run and race was the part I remember. I mean, I think I've mentioned this before, that a lot of it is, for me, thinking about rationing out my energy. So let's say I'm doing 12 by a minute fast. I want to be asking myself on the fourth one, rather than saying, okay, is this the right pace? I'm saying, okay, does this feel about right for fourth effort out of 12? Or even if you want to simplify it, if he's doing 10, if I feel like I've used about 40%, yeah. Or maybe, I've gone a little over, maybe back off a bit. I really prefer to go into things just trusting my body. And that's a lesson I'm teaching Bailey a lot now too. It's hard to resist when she's climbing on things and doing things that as a parent you can see how it could go wrong in every way, and trying to, you know, within reason, let her risk it and learn to trust her body, especially as a little girl. And so I very much feel the same way, that we've become so reliant on stats and numbers to tell us what we quote unquote should be feeling, when in fact, really, we just need to get better at knowing how we actually feel, rather than being, all these shoulds and woulds, thinking about what we, light changed, thinking about what we could be feeling, or what we are feeling. And so I always did that in my races too. I was very good at judging it and running what really I was capable of most of the time, or, you know, not blowing up. And sometimes, to be honest, there is that little part of me that wonders if I could have done more, if I'd have been more fearless and gone for it and see what happens. But for me, the mental side of it just wasn't worth it. Not in terms of like, couldn't handle it, but for me, it just made more sense to just, what I felt was, do it the right way and get to the second half feeling strong. And when I said I didn't think I could handle it, I think that's not actually true, because I do think I would maybe cave mentally, and maybe that's what is my fear, that I don't want to like expose myself as weak, even though that sounds ridiculous. Maybe that's a fear I have, but I haven't ever really, there's been a few races where I've blown up, but I just always preferred to let my body tell me what felt right. And so that's how I ran, and still is. I very much do that. don't really have any structure going right now, but I do enjoy just letting my body tell me what feels right. Oh wow, the clock says 29 minutes, 30 minutes now. We did stop to take a picture, so I'm gonna just give us a minute to check in with our bodies. But before I do this final bit, I just want to talk about, thank Beam for sponsoring this. If you haven't checked out Beam yet, go do it. They have 3 awesome electrolyte powders in their Elevate Hydration series. There's the Perform for races. I took it in my trail race, take it often. There's the Balance, which is for day to day. There's afternoons, maybe you haven't been looking after yourself. And the Recover, which is going to help. It's got collagen and branched chain amino acids to help with recovery, but it's also just an easy drink to enjoy. You can get 15% off your order, 20% off a subscription by using code TINA at beamtlc.com. That's beamtlc.com. I will put a link in the show notes of this episode. Go check it out. I really, really am enjoying it. All right, 30-minute group. Let's slow to a walk. We'll give you just a minute to catch your breath before we do some strides. And let's go scan back down through the body, starting at your head. How are you feeling? See if you can pay attention to anything else that feels tight or different. Any tight spots, shake them out, loose them out. Let's go. Working your way down your body, paying attention to what feels tight or not. Final few seconds. Right, anything feel tighter than when you started? Sore, aching, painful? Anything feel better? All right, we are going to go into some strides. 30-minute group. I'll tell you when to start. Just going to do pickups. If you haven't done these before, not sprints, just picking up the speed for 10-ish seconds, and then we'll slow to a walk. If you're in the 45-minute groups, you can slow to a slow jog, take a few 30 seconds or so, and then we'll do another one. All right, so we're ready. In 3, 2, 1. And slowing down. If you're in a 30-minute group, you can stand around, walk slowly around for a minute. If you're in the 45, let's just catch our breath. Whew. And these aren't meant to be max speed, maybe around 80% of your max. So, not going crazy. And again, as I've mentioned before, you're not trying to stride out. This is not trying to take bigger steps. In fact, as I mentioned earlier with the cadence, if you want to run faster, you actually probably want to take more steps. Increase your cadence. And the power that's developed from, training at a fast speed will make you propel yourself further along. So you will automatically cover more ground, but you're not going to do it by reaching out. Okay, ready? I'm going to do another one. In 3, 2, 1. And go to a walk. You're in a 45. Do a slow enough jog so you can catch your breath, and then slowly ease back into your regular running speed. 30-minute group. Thank you so much for joining me today. Loved having you with me. Be sure to send me that picture you took so I can see it, see where you're running, feel like we're together. And go check out Beam TLC, use code TINA. You can also get a link in the notes for this episode on your favourite podcast player. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you Friday for a new podcast episode, and then next Monday for another run. Thanks, friends. All right, 45 minutes. I don't know what to do here with the time because I lost a good 5 minutes in my pause of when I stopped my watch and forgot to restart it. Getting into that ultra mindset, you know. They don't ever, or not even ultra, trails. They don't stop their watch. So now I'm all discombobulated, knowing whether to stop my watch or not. Because, you know, you don't want to be reaching to stop your watch in front of trail runners, because they'll give you that side eye of laughing at you. No, they don't. But I do feel self-conscious about it, to be honest, because it's so ingrained in the trail community that it is what it is. Whether you run 12 miles in 3 hours, or 20 miles in 3 hours, or 6 miles in 3 hours, it doesn't matter. Which I kind of love. And it goes back to what we were talking about with Jerry's question of, I love the no pressure approach. And maybe that's why I have gravitated towards the trails, because it can be a place where I can just let go of all the numbers. I actually I'd really love to, on that note, I'm really sorry to whoever you are, but this morning, and I will hopefully give you a shout out on a future run, because I apologise, I can't remember who you were. Someone asked me, would I consider resetting my PRs? Camilla, was that you? Maybe. Would I consider resetting my PRs? No. And not because I, like having them attached to my name. And it's not the other way of being that I want to get away from always comparing myself to those. But I think I like the idea and the fact that I'm not trying to be those anymore. Like the other day when I ran a 5K in just over 19 minutes, like when I just had Bailey, that thought was in there of like, oh my God, you are so far away from your best. Like when I ran 1:19 and the Disney World half, and I won the race, but I was well aware that 6 minutes is a long time in a 1 hour race. But now, I don't know, I just don't feel that right now. I feel like proud of those times, but they're part of me and my journey. And I just don't feel the need to reach a personal best in any of the distances that I've got these times in. And it's Like, I want to challenge myself in new ways, but I just don't feel like, for me right now, I need that validation of knowing I've run, a postpartum best, or a best in this part 2 running. Maybe I will pay attention, but for now, just at peace with it. Just as I'm totally getting at peace with the way people are staring at me as I'm doing these runs. I just don't look at them anymore, I have to be honest. But I just feel like I don't care. I love the idea of us, my community, running together. And so it's worth the strange looks and the people staring for that. That's how much I care about you. Yes. So I think now we maybe should do... Oh man, I'm going to miss this light. Oh no, I'm good. Okay. I think maybe now we should do another scenery check-in. Not as long this time. We'll just do it a bit quicker. What do you taste? I still taste nothing. What do you smell? Take a nice deep breath. I smell pine trees. What do you hear? What do you see? And what do you feel? What are the touches that you feel on your body from the outside world, internally? What do you feel? And how do you feel? Ask yourself that. What words did you use at the beginning? Would you still use the same words? What different words would you use? You can mention that in your post if you upload the run we did together. Or you can just think to it to yourself. By the way, some of the views you were sending me, making me very jealous of where you're running. Oh man, some of you have such amazing scenery. And on that note, even if you don't, if you're someone who you're running the same loop, you always have to, because you have to run in the dark, or you have to stay close to home, and you just feel like there's nothing around you that is stunning. That's why I do the see what you see. Maybe one of your neighbors has a unique flower that is absolutely beautiful. Or maybe there's some kind of proud architect who lives near you, who has really put a lot of time and energy into their house and what it looks like. Maybe it's the people you see. Maybe you saw a child in just perfect play, happy. There's always things around. And just because your view might not be running up a mountain with a view, or you're not running in the middle of the English countryside or whatever, doesn't make it any less. It does mean, however, that you may get some time, get to run somewhere different, and you appreciate it 100 times more than the person who has it every day. I know that's the case for me. I feel so much more grateful for the runs I do get that are beautiful sceneries. For me, that's trail runs right now, once a week or every other week. But also, when I was in beautiful places, when I lived there, you forget to take them in. And I love that these runs are helping those of you who do have that to feel that way and to remember. All right, so we're coming in. I don't know how long we stopped for to take the picture, but we're coming into our final bit. I'll just probably give us another minute. Guess that to be right. So with this final minute, let's just reflect on this run. How was it for you? All right, I'm gonna guess we're at about 45, if one way off, and you can't let yourself stop before you've hit 45 or whatever else. You can pause the recording, finish your run, and then join us for a few strides. I'm definitely further out than I started, so sure if I misjudged that or what. Maybe it was a little too short, but I apologise if that's the case. I don't feel like we stopped for more than a minute. Maybe we did. Alright, so we'll get a minute to get our breath back. You can be walking around, you can be running, jogging slightly, or you can be just stationary. Up to you. And then we're just going to do a stride, about 10 seconds of picking up the pace. Again, not trying to take big steps. If anything, you want to be taking little steps. Just picking up the pace. Okay, ready? In 3, 2, 1. Okay, hands go down. Okay, so to walk. Do one more. And then we can be done. I think next time it's going to be a workout. Why don't we try that? And do it with me. Or you can save it for a day you are going to do it. If you are training for a full marathon, I'd imagine marathon training hasn't fully ramped up yet, so you could join me. And then, be rust shaken off for your marathon training once it begins. All right, we ready? Last stride. 3, 2, 1. And split to a walk. Thank you so much for joining me today, friends. I will see you next Monday. Be sure to go check out beamtlc.com. Use code TINA for 15 or 20% off your order. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Before we end this episode, I just want to take a moment to shout out my podcast editor, Jeremy Nessel, who has done such a wonderful job of looking after my podcast, taking out all the mishaps in the episodes, while still keeping in the vulnerability and the realness and the rawness of the conversation. This is not one of those podcasts where I take out the ums and the ers and the sometimes the delay in words, because I think it's very important to keep that authenticity. We're surrounded by perfected and manicured everything. And I think it's really important that Running for Real stays that way. So thank you to Jeremy for your work. I also want to thank Maria Vargas and Amber Moore, who are also part of my team. They've been a big part of this community and me being able to build this brand. So just want to give them a shout out too. All right, let's get right back to the end of this episode. Thanks so much for joining me today for Together Run 5. Hope you appreciated that one. And I like hearing that you are really enjoying the strides. I think maybe that's a way for us to stay accountable and to make sure we get them in. Think about us doing it together. Be sure to tag me in the picture that you took of yourself. I really hope you did it. If not during, you took one afterwards. Be sure to upload it to social media. Tag me in it. I love seeing those, or at least send it to me. It really makes me happy to see that, to know that we kind of did a run together. And I like seeing where you get to run as well. Friends, I want to remind you just to go check out beamtlc.com and use code TINA. You can get 15% off your order or 20% off a subscription. I absolutely love those Elevate hydration packs in the Perform, Balance and Recovery. Be sure you can actually get a link. There's a link in the show notes here where you would have found the episode. And I will see you on Friday for another Running for Real podcast episode. See you then.